Alright, hello everybody. I'm going to try and keep this relatively short today. I am going to forego my usual training video in order to do something that I think will be more productive for me as a coming to terms with my own training and where I am in my training. Today I was supposed to squat, and I was supposed to do 3 work sets, working up with my knee wraps. And I did some warm-up sets, 315, 365, did 415 for a triple and really didn't like the way it felt, then did 440 for a double and racked it after the second rep. I was supposed to do a triple with it. I did 5 reps with it last week, and I'm collapsing in the hole. My right shoulder is collapsing. I'm having issues staying tight. There are a number of different issues that have been made manifest over the last few months squatting in knee wraps, and so I finished my 440 for a double, which is a pretty pitiful double, to be honest with you. I wasn't feeling great, and I did 480 for a double, which is about 8% higher based on my 1 rep max than the 440 I did today. So finished my 440 for a double, decided to call it there, and just came to a realization in training today. So my realization was that today was going to mark both an exceptionally bad training session and an exceptionally enlightening training session. And I have finally come to terms with the fact that I can no longer go through life and training exclusively in knee wraps. In order to attain the amount of volume that I need, in order to attain the desired frequency to really develop my squat, in order to build strength coming out of the hole, in order to address some of the various asymmetry issues that have been produced over the last 6 months or so as my knee wrap squat has improved. I really need to get back to doing some unwrapped squatting. I need to stop with the reverse band work. I need to stop with the low box work. I need to go back to the basics. I need to work on my unwrapped squat, and I need to develop it in order to push my wrap squat to where it needs to be. This doesn't mean I'm going to become an unwrapped squatter. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to compete in knee wraps anymore. It just means that the bulk of my training from this point until the foreseeable future, and this is going to be sort of an experiment for me, is going to be done without knee wraps. It is one of the few changes that I have resisted making in my training for quite a long time. And a few months ago, I made one change in my training that I resisted making, which was to address my bench press, address what was happening with my right shoulder in terms of the constant chronic overuse that was being caused by doing heavy touch and go reps, and finding a way to train around that and to train in a productive manner to improve my bench press. And I found a way to do that, and it involved me really taking the percentages down, doing paused reps, making the repetitions harder, and sort of burying my ego a little bit. And there are a few other things in my training that I know I can improve upon, and I just have been unwilling to, for reasons I guess I can only describe as stubbornness. And squatting without knee wraps has been one. I don't know why over the last few years I have refused to squat without knee wraps. I think the simple answer is that I'm probably afraid of what I might find, and but it's time for me to confront that, and it's time for me to come to terms with that. And if I really want to improve as a lifter, I need to humble myself, and I need to do so immediately, because I don't have a lot of time on this planet. I don't have a lot of time to get stronger, and I need to make the most of every day. So I have a plan in mind, and that plan is still to someday challenge for the raw squat world record, and I've not deviated from that plan. But in order for me to reach that goal, I need to swallow my ego and do things that are going to be for the best for my training. And one of those things is to squat more frequently, to get more volume in, and to get more unwrapped squatting in. And so squatting without knee wraps has been a psychological barrier for me for the last couple of years, but squatting in knee wraps produces within me a great deal of anxiety. I hate doing it. I hate having to wrap up before my work sets. I hate the feeling of being uncomfortable in the hole, feeling like I'm breaking down in the hole. I hate the inconsistency with which I approach the lift. Some weeks are great, some weeks are really not great, and I know that the root cause of that is probably the fact that I've neglected unwrapped squatting for so long. So this is something that I finally need to address. My squat hasn't exactly fallen apart. You know, I still feel good about being able to go in and on a good day squat over 500. You know, I did 510 in training. I feel like I'm still a 500-pound squatter in knee wraps, and I don't think that's changed. I think some of the rep maxes I've hit recently suggest that my squat is just fine in terms of where my max is, but in terms of making good long-term improvements and going from being a 510-pound squatter to a 570-pound squatter, which is where I want to end up, because that's where I need to be if I want to be a world record holder. In order to do that, I have to do squatting without knee wraps. I have to do more squatting, and that's what I plan on doing. And I'm going to address this issue in my training. I'm going to overcome this psychological barrier that has plagued me for the last couple of years by jumping right into a Smolov base cycle. I'm going to be squatting 4 times a week. I'm going to be squatting Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in addition to that, I'm going to be bench pressing 4 times a week. And in addition to that, I'm going to be doing some deadlifting on Sundays. Sundays, I'm going to be doing my 9x4, which will be the easiest squat day. And alongside that, I'm going to be doing deadlifting on top of it. Some people might say that this is too much, but I don't abide by the rules of other people, because if you want to be an exceptional athlete, you have to train by your own rules. I don't think you subscribe to the rules of people that want to be average powerlifters or above average powerlifters, because that's not what I'm after. You know, my only goal in this sport, my only real goal in this sport, is to be as good as I can possibly be, and hopefully that means being the best powerlifter in the world at my weight class, or even beyond my weight class. And that's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I'm nowhere remotely close to that yet. But in order for me to achieve that, nothing can be sacred in my training. And by that I mean I can't continue to lie to myself and say that it's okay for me to go in and do 3 work sets of back squatting per week, in addition to supplementing it with either reverse bands or low box squatting or whatever else I'm doing. That simply isn't going to get me where I want to go. I have to do more back squatting, and I have to do more back squatting without knee wraps. Today was an awful day in terms of the training numbers, but today was also an enlightening day, and it was a day in which I actually set a PR. And the PR that I set, believe it or not, was an unwrapped squat, 1 rep max PR. My previous best was 310 pounds, which was set in a meet in 2009. Shortly after that meet, I started squatting in knee wraps, and basically did all of my squatting in knee wraps since then, and made good steady progress over that time. But it wasn't until 2002 where my squat really exploded. I went from a 430 squat to a 510 squat within about 11 months' time, and I think just the increase in weight produced various issues that now need correcting, and this sometimes happens. Sometimes you get stronger and you start to develop an asymmetry, or you start to develop a muscle imbalance that needs to be corrected, and I think that's just what's going on with me right now in my squat. I think that I think that my top end strength is just completely overpowering my strength out of the hole, and I think I'm weak. I mean, to be honest, I think I'm weak out of the hole, and I think that's why I'm falling apart. And I think it's time for me to address that, and that's what I'm going to do. So my all-time best unwrapped squat was 310 pounds, done in a meet 2009, my first meet at 148 pounds. That was a grinder. Today, after I did 440, I ended up just getting rid of the knee wraps. I did a few work sets. I mean, they weren't even really work sets. Just a few longer rep sets. without knee wraps, just to remember what it felt like again. And I'm going to show you the set I did with 315, which is I mean, it's ridiculous to say, but it's technically a 5-pound PR for me for a squat without knee wraps. And so I did like a 315 for 8 at the end of my session, and it felt fine. You know, it felt like, I don't know what my rep max with 315 would be, but probably more than 8 reps. But I just wanted to get a few reps in there just to feel it. As ridiculous as it is, I have been wrapping up as early as 315 for the last 2 years, and my squat has gone 150 pounds up. I still wrap up at 315, and there's really no reason for it at this point. You know, I can squat 315 pounds without knee reps. It's time for me to get rid of that. I have been using it as a crutch. It has been a crutch for my training for too long now, and it's time for me to make some good positive changes that will build a bigger squat, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, and because I think that in my training, there are a lot of things that come very easy for me. You know, training hard comes very easy for me. Focusing on my goals comes very easy. Managing my diet comes very easy. Living an aesthetic lifestyle that is dedicated and focused towards powerlifting is very easy. But changing certain aspects of my training and exposing myself to the possibility of either realizing that I'm weaker than I think I am, or having to take a step back in a lift, that terrifies me. So this is a big step for me, and I'm going to jump right into it with Small Love Jr. I hope you keep following. I hope you enjoy the misery that is my unwrapped squatting escapades. I'm going to set my max, my projected max, just take a wild guess and set it at 430, which I think is, in all honesty, is probably setting it a little bit low, but I'll find out once I do the weights. I'm really just kind of shooting in the dark here, but I'm gonna set it at 430, and I'm gonna do run the base mesocycle with Small Love Jr., and we'll just see what happens with that. So unfortunately, sometimes we all have to arrive at difficult decisions regarding our training, and I try to keep no barriers in my training. You know, I try to make sure that nothing is sacred in my training, and I want to be willing to do whatever it takes in order to get stronger and reach my goals, and to hopefully be the best lifter in the world at my weight class someday. And this is what I have to do, and it's taken me some time to come to that realization, but today was the tipping point. I've been thinking about it for a while, and today I just realized, you know, I have to give this a try. This is what I need to do to get stronger. So I hope you follow me on it. Again, just a incredibly disappointing training day, but also a really enlightening one. So feeling pretty mixed emotions right now, but I'll stop rambling on. I'm going to show you the 315 set very quickly, and so you'll get to see that, and outside of that, keep checking in. I will have more videos for you soon.